Now we're up to the movies that are coming out on Friday the 18th. Now, this is the rest of the movies that are opening this week. So, and we're going to be talking about quite a few of them, and there's a lot of hits and misses on this one. The first one, I'm sure there's a lot of animal lovers that are excited for this one. But, hang on for a second. It's called Strays, and it looks really cute. It looks like it's a movie aimed at kids, and that's the problem. This is not a movie for kids. If you guys remember a couple years ago, Sausage Party came out and it was like a cartoon based around groceries, and they were all just really vulgar and a lot of just over the top jokes and stuff that just carried it way too far. This is basically that movie with dogs. There's strong language, there's adult innuendos, there's all this stuff. It's basically the world from the eyes of stray dogs in the city. It's so wrong. It's funny in an absolutely raunchy way. If you enjoyed movies like Deadpool and things like that, okay, I did, admittedly, and I enjoyed Sausage Party, but I agree, I'm probably in a minority audience on that. They were just a little bit off, just a little off, even for me on some levels, because I could watch it and I could recognize how wrong it was that I was watching this, and I'm like, why am I laughing? But yeah, it's one of those ones that you don't want to laugh at, but you do. But like I said, this is definitely not a kid's movie. Absolutely not. This one's probably going to get very guilty. Like, I wouldn't even recommend this one even for preteens. It's like it just goes above that other level that certain adults will find it funny, and so it's going to have a small audience. It could end up being bigger than I think, but who knows? Now, our next one might be a little bit more kid-friendly. We're going to be talking about Blue Beetle. Now, when I first saw the commercials for this, is with Blue Beetle, it basically, my first thought was like The Tick, the cartoon from like 10, 20 years ago on Fox. It's kind of what it reminded me of. And in this one, a boy gets bit by a scarab and he develops powers and he doesn't really know what to do with it. It's almost like it's DC's Ant-Man, except instead of an Ant-Man, he's a scarab man. It's, I don't know, it looks goofy, it looks silly. I think that one would probably be pretty safe for kids, just because it's like one of those superhero type movies that it's either going to be great or it's going to be an absolute flop. There's not much middle ground on those ones. Now, our next movie, again, we're going back to one that's probably not going to be very kid friendly. It's called Back on the Strip. This one is about the chocolate chips. Now, I'm not talking about the ingredient in your favorite cookies. I am talking about a black dance group that used to play in Vegas, and they've gotten older. Well, they're having an opportunity because of a young friend of theirs to get back into it. So they book a one-way ticket to Vegas, and the chocolate chips used to be these really just hot guys, the ones that you're just kind of like, yes, mommy. For my female audiences, you'll get that reference. My male audiences, you probably just cringed. So I apologize in advance on that one. But yeah, this one is called Back on the Strip. It looks to be like a pretty good comedy, but it could also go totally the opposite direction on that. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Now, our next movie is called The Moon. It's kind of a sci-fi movie. It's all in subtitles in Korean. Yeah, subtitles. I don't know why they do this to me. Not that they're doing this to me directly, but it's just like, ugh. I'm just not a big fan of subtitles. But in this one, they've gone back to the moon. The astronauts have. The Korean astronauts, to be specific. With going back to the moon, they have a problem because they accidentally left one of their astronauts on the moon. Now, it almost feels a little bit like the Alien movie with Matt Damon a few years ago, and just where he was stranded on Mars, except this guy's stranded on the moon. So, I don't know, maybe it's more interesting than I'm giving it credit for, if we can hope. And we're going to get into another subtitles movie. If you can't tell, I don't like subtitles. It's called The Engineer, and this one it's based on a true story. It's about an engineer who is in Israel. There's both English dialogue and subtitles in this one. It's about suicide bombings and somebody trying to stop the bombings and save the lives of soldiers and brothers and just kind of everybody that's over there. So it's somebody trying to intervene and do the right thing because they know what will happen if Israel falls. That's a very political thing, and I'm going to have to get into a little bit on another show of my feelings on that. But yeah, this person is trying to protect Israel at all costs, and I think that's a very good thing. That's my stance on it. So, or at least a little peek at my stance on it. Now, our next movie is called Dead Shot. It's This one was a little bit hard to follow. I watched 3 different trailers on it. This one is they're hunting a soldier. Who the bad guys are is really kind of blurry in this one. I couldn't quite figure it out. One of the people wants to escape, one of them wants to die. It looked very complicated. And that's not always a good thing. And who knows, maybe it'll surprise me. Our next one is actually called The Adults. Now, that name is used very loosely based on what I saw in these trailers. These siblings that are the adults referred to in the title haven't seen each other in 3 years. There is one that is depressed, one that's kind of a recluse, and one that's on the spectrum. They're all trying to process their mother's deaths, and they're processing them in entirely different ways. It's kind of how they kind of learn to interact with one another and how they are, like I said, processing the death and just like learning how to be siblings again in a sorts. It looks like it's trying to be a little bit of a drama and maybe a little bit of a comedy in a loose way. It was, like I said, a little bit kind of just unusual to figure out, but at the same time, I have been surprised by movies like this in the past, so I'm kind of hoping. Now, this next one's a little creepy, so if you don't mind a little creepy, it is actually, the title of the movie is called Birth, Rebirth. Now, that may sound a little bit confusing, and no, I'm not talking about obstetrics and gynecology. In this one, a mother loses her young daughter and decides to steal her from the morgue and experiment on her to try to reanimate her. She's proving that the point of life isn't just one thing, and it's almost like Pet Cemetery type thing of if you can bring her back, she's not going to be the same person type thing. So it kind of goes in that direction. It'll be interesting to see if that ends up to be much of a story of substance at all. Our next one is actually more of a documentary. It's based on Simone Weil and her political career and kind of all the changes that she made in the world. This documentary was actually made in 2021. It is basically all in subtitles. It's, like I said, it's just basically about her life. It's one of the quotes in that I did pick up on is, "It's not work, it's a calling." I don't know much about her personally to really understand much that she did, and maybe I should have researched that a little bit more. If you're familiar with Simone Weil, this one is, again, called Simone, Woman of the Century. This might be one you'll want to check out if you've never heard of her. That's completely up to you if you even want to look into it. The next one, when I saw this, I was just like, why do they have to keep doing this? If you can't picked up on the whole thing, it's like, I don't like woke movies and I don't like subtitle movies. And I promise not to mention subtitles again, except for one more movie after this where there just happens to be subtitles, but I won't refer to my preference on that anymore because I'm probably driving you nuts. And if I am, I apologize. But in the movie called Mutt, it's about a trans male. Now, a trans male is a biological female, like it or not. It's just what it is. And it's just, this person is trying to find where they fit in because there's the relationships kind of that are going on with that, the friendships and everything that they had. Well, a person refers to this person as "It's still you, just another." Mentioning subtitles is for Madeline Collins. This one is, again, its own subtitles. It's about a mother who's working outside the home and it develops an affair. So the dad stays home and takes care of the kids. And it just is a very complicated family drama. I think it's trying to maybe undercut a little bit a working woman's role in society. And if you guys know me at all, you know I'm not a feminist on that stuff. But this one just is like, I don't understand why they have to keep making movies like this. They obviously have a target audience, but I have no idea what it is. Now, the next movie actually looks kind of cute. It's called Puppy Love. This couple meets on a dating app, and she swipes right on this guy because he's got a cute dog in his picture. And she's like, oh, and she points to her dog. She's like, oh, it's a boyfriend for you. Well, they get together for just kind of this first date out in the open, out in a park. And before they knew it, the dogs are getting a little bit more than friendly with one another. And so that ends up resulting in puppies. So, and the whole thing of bringing the parent dogs together for the puppy's sake, and then the humans end up falling in love. So it looked really sweet and a little silly too. If you are a dog lover, I highly recommend it just based on what I could see on the trailers. Now, the last movie that we are going to be talking about today, unfortunately, I hate to say it's our last movie of the day, but it's called The Monkey King. It's roughly kind of a cheap knockoff of Kung Fu Panda, except it's a monkey. And he's got a whole sidekick, but it's got like the whole dojo thing and learning how to do martial arts and just kind of the rest of that. If you've ever been a fan of those kind of movies, this might be one that you will want to check out. If not, it might be one you want to skip. And believe it or not, that is it. So I hope this has helped you. Forgive me for mentioning the S word so many times throughout this podcast, but there were so many subtitled movies, and I apologize. I have no control over what gets released from week to week, and I much appreciate when there's a lot less subtitled movies. Because if you couldn't tell, yes, I know, insert it. But I love bringing these to you. I love helping you because who knows? Maybe these movies will end up being a hidden favorite for some of you. And who knows? Maybe this will help you figure out like what, if any, ones you want to go spend your money on at the theater. That's my whole goal with this, is to entertain you and to try to help you. I love what I do. It's a little bit awkward at times as I'm trying to look up these movies and trying to research, and I'm trying to make my notes. And honestly, I only make myself like 2-3 sentences worth of notes off of all of these trailers just to kind of jog my memory. And then I come on here and I have them all listed out, and I'm trying to just go through and talk to you about these. I don't prepare what I'm going to say ahead of time. None of this, nothing what I do is scripted or anything like that. So it's just off the cuff, just whatever comes into my brain as I'm thinking about these movies. So I'm not trying to annoy you at all. If I am, I'm actually trying to be entertaining, trying to be fun, trying to be silly. I always say I'm just me. It's hard enough to be myself. I don't ever want to try to be anybody else. But I hope you're having fun with these. If you are, please like, subscribe, and of course, share. I am always looking for more listeners. But ultimately, like I said, I'm having a lot of fun with this. I hope you are too. And I just hope you have a great weekend and catch you on the flip side. Stay tuned Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for this weekend's movie reviews. And I will, of course, be back Monday with some new surprises. Bye-bye.